Hi there, my name is Sonia, and this is my presentation on Do I Live in a Good Community? So this is the 360. 360 is just the area code for Vancouver, Washington. Right here is just a picture of Washington State in general. It borders Canada, Idaho, and Oregon. Within Washington State, you have this little area called Clark County. And then within Clark County, you have a bunch of little cities, but Vancouver, Washington is right here. So if you go back to this picture, Vancouver is right here, and it borders Oregon. It's about a 10-15 minute drive to Oregon. Some demographics for Vancouver, Washington. In 2019, we had a population of about 184,463 people. Of that, we had 92,679 males and 91,784 females. There was a median age of 36.9 years in Vancouver, Washington, with Washington State having about a year older with 37.9 years. The estimated household income in 2019 was $66,679. Washington State overall had almost $8,000 more dollars. It looks like males brought an income of about $40,487, while females brought an income of a little less than $26,000. And then also an estimated median house value in 2009 for Vancouver, Washington alone was $339,800, with Washington State having a bit of a higher value. And then to rent here in Vancouver, Washington in 2019, it was about $1,300. I do know that that's gone up. I don't have the exact numbers for 2020 or 2021, but I do know that it's pretty expensive to live here. Maybe not as expensive as Seattle, Washington, or New York, but it's getting there. And then there's a graduation rate, high school graduation rate at least, of 91%. Here is a display of the population age bracket here in Vancouver, Washington. It looks like there's about 30,129 individuals from the age range of 25 to 34 years here in Vancouver, Washington. Some demographics for Vancouver. As you can see, majority of the race here in Vancouver is white, with Hispanics being second with 13.7%. The percentage of residents living in poverty in 2019, it looks like Hispanic or Latino residents were the most for poverty, with Black residents just being right up there with them. I have actually seen the poverty population kind of get worse as the years have progressed. I see a lot of homeless camps that I didn't see before, but I think it might have to do with COVID at this time because I started noticing it after COVID. So the crime rate for Vancouver, Washington, as you can see, the purple is Vancouver, and the tannish color is for US average. As you can see, Vancouver has a higher crime rate than the US average, except in 2002. I actually found this really shocking because I honestly never hear any kind of crime that happens in Vancouver. It's always right across the way in Portland, Oregon, which again is about 15-20 minutes away. So I found that actually quite shocking. So there's just 3 major employers in Vancouver, Washington. There's actually a lot of major employers here, but these are just the 3 major ones. As you can see, it's Vancouver Public Schools, Evergreen Public Schools, and then Peace Health Southwest Medical Center. The numbers represented right here represent the number of people employed there. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of people who are employed at these places. 3 informal institutions in Clark County: CCYF, which is Clark County Youth Football, Vancouver Parks and Rec, and then the Addiction Recovery community here in Clark County. CCYF, obviously, that's just encouraging individuals youth specifically, to join the football club. Parks and Rec, again, this is kind of just like a community thing where people pay like roughly about $50 to join like a recreational kickball team or something for the summer. And then the addiction recovery community, it's actually pretty big here in Vancouver. I never realized how big it was until I started working with the addiction recovery community. There's a lot of self-help groups that I didn't know about, but I think it's a little difficult right now with COVID because everything is online and not everyone has the means to attend self-help groups online just because they don't have the Wi-Fi or laptop or things like that. But it is a very, very big community here, so that's cool. And then this is just information from the article that we had to read for seeking the good community. So there's 9 of them that make it a good community. I'll just briefly go over them. The first one is safety. So that's just safety from natural disasters, environmental factors, and crime. Number 2 is goods and services. This is just basically access and affordability to necessary goods and services. Togetherness is number 3. That is the ability to share experiences with one another and show concern or care. 4 is values and goals. This is the ability to come together for a common goal. 5 is whole person principle. That's just basically understanding someone as a whole rather than their title. That could include, like for the example I gave was just a janitor, like you know him as more than just a janitor. 6 is predictability. This is understanding what is going to happen on a day-to-day basis. 7 is recognized place in the social structure. This is identity within a community. 8 is opportunities. This is growth and fulfillment. And then the last one is number 9, which is homogeneity. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sure I'm wrong. But this is the ability to prevent conflict but acknowledge and accept diversity. So this one, utopian or dystopian community, this is basically just going over some things that are here in Vancouver, Washington. So the first one is safety. Here in Vancouver, we have warnings on your cell phone in case someone like gets abducted or something. We have fire, tornado, and earthquake drills. I'm pretty sure that fire and tornado drills were just a school thing because I haven't done, I'm sorry. I think the tornado and earthquake drills are something that were just done in school because I haven't done any since. But the fire drills we do have at least yearly here at my work, so I'm sure that's a common thing. We do have access to clean water, air, and a safe place to work. The only thing is that we do have a higher crime than the US average, like I'd stated before. Number 2 is goods and services. There is a high homelessness rate. I don't know the exact numbers, but like I had stated, just from observing what has gone on in the last 27 years that I've lived here, the homeless population has definitely significantly increased, especially within the last year. And like I said, there's minimal resources. I'm a case manager for individuals who are seeking services for addiction. And my job is to obviously figure out what kind of resources are here in Vancouver, Washington, and it is honestly very, very hard to find any kind of housing for individuals. Number 3 is togetherness. Like I had stated earlier, there's a ton of self-help groups for recovery. I'm sure there's several different other places that you could get kind of feel like you're able to share your experiences with one another. Number 4 is the values and goals. I actually really like this one. It's the Quinn Driscoll Foundation. There was a 12-year-old boy here a few years ago, and he actually died at school because he had sudden cardiac arrest, and there was just no way to help him, which was really unfortunate. But yeah, so they created this foundation in his name, and basically you get free heart screenings, education, and AED grants for schools. So that's pretty cool because that's just coming together for a common goal. It's to understand sudden cardiac arrest. Number 5 is the whole person. This one I'm kind of having a trouble with. I can't think of an idea or how someone can think of someone as a whole rather than just looking at them as their title. So that one's difficult. 6 is the predictability. Again, that's just understanding what is going to happen on a day-to-day basis. I feel like that could vary from person to person. For someone like me, I have a very strict schedule with like waking up at a certain time, going to work, getting off work, going on a walk for half an hour to an hour, and then doing homework and things like that. But then you have a homeless person who doesn't know what's going to happen on a day-to-day basis. So it kind of just, it's difficult. 7 is a recognized place. Again, this is identity within a community. I feel like that's just a person-to-person thing. Personally, I have an identity within the community. It's a student as well as an employee at a certain place. If you look at someone who's homeless, they don't really have an identity unless you look at it as a negative way, saying that this person is so-and-so and they're addicted to drugs and they're this person and that person. Number 8 is opportunities. This is the churches that we have, the LGBTQ community. Pride is a very, very big thing in Portland, Oregon. Not in Vancouver. However, everyone from Vancouver who supports that community does go to the Pride Parade that happens every year. So I would say that it's kind of the same. And then everyone has an equal opportunity to go to school, and then parks around here, among different other things, but those are just some. And then the last one is homogeneity. Again, this is the ability to prevent conflict, but acknowledge and accept diversity. Like I had stated before, majority of the race here is white with a few other demographics, or races, I'm sorry. But overall, I feel like it's pretty diverse. You've got people with different religions, and we don't judge them, or at least I don't, and things like that. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. And then these are my references, and I would say, yeah, that's about all I've got.